My name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Africa number 2. This video is going to be about martial arts. You know, martial arts. Alright, so that's probably the only demonstration you're going to get for this video. I'm sorry. In fact, it is the only video demonstration you're going to get because this is more important because it will affect you directly, if not indirectly, it still will affect you. If you are a martial artist, if you're a martial art fan, if you know martial artists, if you know martial art fans, if you're into martial arts in any way, shape, or form, this video is for you. It will affect you. Let me apologize now because I am a cusser, and every now and again, sometimes things fly out my mouth that I didn't mean to say, that I didn't think before I spoke, and there's a cicada. Okay, it's out of its shell. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. Not gonna touch it. As a martial artist, there are a lot of things that I deem un-martial arts related. Alright? And as a martial artist who's good with the physical, not so great with the philosophy, I'm better with the physical than I am with the philosophy. It just depends on certain aspects with the physical. And now that I had my hip replacement, my arsenal has been cut in half, if not more. When you go to martial arts schools, there are rules and regulations. So let's alright, first 3 weeks, you're in a horse stance. Say, look, counter, lock, counter, lock, counter, block, counter, block, counter, lock, counter, lock. You get the gist. Then you're still in your fighting stance. Block, kick, block, kick, block, kick, block, kick. Now, the reason why that was right block, left kick, left block, right kick, because they generally teach you blocking counters always in karate. Counter with your left, kick with your right. Counter with your right, kick with your left. Kick with your left, counter with your right. And in Kung Fu, it's all about the same, but it depends on your teacher, because sometimes it's block, kick with the closest foot, counter. Or block, break, counter, and you're blocking, you're breaking your counters all in the same motion, so they're throwing a punch, it's boom, boom, or it's boom, boom, So, you get the gist. The problem with modern day martial arts is that some schools are still overly traditional. And I say that because here in America, we test for our belts, for our sashes, or whatever. And some of the tests are deemed by me unrealistic. Alright? Because anybody who can tell you, especially you MMA guys know this. And if you don't know this, then you should know this. When you're in an MMA fight, even though your hands are wrapped, it's highly possible for you to break your hand on someone's face. It's also highly possible for you to break their face with your hand. So, in martial arts schools around America, they still do brick breaking with the chop and the punch, and they still do board breaking with the chop, the punch, and the kick. I don't know if they do brick breaking with the kicks because when I was taking Taekwondo, we were supposed to break bricks with our hands only and boards with our hands only. And yes, I could not do that shit. And when it came time to testings were all in katas. So, from a guy who was never taught katas, I from the jump was taught how to punch and kick when I first started learning karate. I was taught how to punch, how to kick, where they're supposed to land, how they're supposed to land, how not to kill someone while doing that, versus we're going to do Tosan. So step, punch, ice cream scoop, chop, punch with a push, another push, ice cream scoop, push, ice cream scoop, push, ice cream scoop. Okay, so when I took Taekwondo, I learned katas. The martial arts before that, which was freestyle karate, I didn't learn no damn katas, alright? And katas are good for exercise. They're great. But if I ever got the chance to run a dojo, this is how this works. I don't really give a flying fuck about you people. And I damn sure don't believe in a belt system. Because we talked about this at Saber Nights last night, and I'm glad that someone else agrees with me. You shouldn't have a black belt at the age of 8. Alright? You are not that knowledgeable, except for in a few cases, and I'm about to be pro-Asian, so I'm about to piss everybody off. And it's not because Native Americans are Asian. It's just because that's the country of origin for most martial arts. With the exception of Egypt being the country supposedly by science, the origin of the martial arts in general. And then it was refined in Asia. So that's scientifically speaking, I wasn't there. I don't have proof that Egyptians were the first to do martial arts. But they have hieroglyphics and they have science, and you go whatever the hell you believe. Because this is a free country and you can do that. Now, there have been legends, and this is specifically for East Asians. And when I say East Asians, I mean Mongolia to Nepal to Laos, through North and South Korea, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Hawaii, the Philippines, Samoa, Fiji's, and other that. There have been legends, and most of these have, from my training, have come from China. All right, there may have been one or two from Japan, but specifically from China, there have been prodigies and savants. And I'm going to use those terms loosely because savant is also the French fighting with your feet. All hail Olivier Grumman. Anyway, in China, there was a young girl who had a bow stab, and she had been training since she was 2. And she had grew up to become one of the most dominant female fighters, and no, it's not Wing Chun. Okay? I can't pronounce the girl's name, and I'm pretty sure that whoever's Chinese watching this can probably help me out. But there is a legend of a Chinese girl who, by the time she was 8, she was just defeating everyone in a small village. I want to say it's in the northern province, but it was before the Qing dynasty, right? And this young girl was a badass. She was truly one of the baddest women on the planet, all right? Before she was a woman, so she was one of the baddest females on the planet, and she could beat everybody. She beat grown men. She beat little boys. She beat grown women. She was unstoppable, okay? I don't know how her legend ends. I only know that part of the legend. Years later, there would be another legend of a woman of the same caliber, and it would be Wing Chun. You know, so for those who can't see, you get far enough back. Low kick, punch, 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 boom, boom. Okay, so it would be that. And this came about way before your snake and your little rattle, your crane, your mantis, your tiger, your dragon, your drunken master, etc., etc. Now back then, in ancient China and everything, and you know people are going to bitch and fawn about that and say that, you know, there's not a lot of truth to it. I'm going to say this. Every myth and legend has some truth to it. Believe what you want. For America, though, and for martial art purposes, I should not be calling an 8-year-old sir. I should not be calling a 13-year-old sir. I honestly don't think you should have a black belt before you hit 15 years old. Alright? And here's the reason why. There is a strong philosophy of martial arts, and there is a strong thing that I know personally from martial arts. The younger you start, the better you form, because you have time to adjust and you're growing and you're adapting. Where I started at 7, so my form kind of sucks. But that doesn't mean an 8-year-old with a black belt is going to leap out this tree and whoop my ass. It's not going to happen unless I'm stupid enough to sit there and let it happen. It doesn't mean a 15-year-old or 12-year-old is going to come down here and whoop my ass. Now, I'm going to say it can't happen. But for the most part, my experience alone, I better be able to stop them, or it's back to the drawing board for me. And as a martial artist, you know, earning the belt and having your skills take time, but also having the experience to utilize your skills is a whole nother cup of T there. You know, because one, when I was 8 years old, I was scared as hell to fight a grown man. Even though I used to watch all the June Ree self-defense commercials, you know, nobody bothers me. That's me winking my eye. People used to think I actually was that kid, but people also used to mistake me for Ernie Reyes Jr. too. So that's that. But when you're a martial artist and you're 7 and 8, and they do have videos of these guys ripping it up in the tournaments and pads and all that stuff, and they have a very cute little 2-year-old girl from China who's doing her katas, and she's like a fucking ace. She also has either a black belt or a blue belt. I can't remember. I have to find the video. But whatever belt she has, she's a bit young to have that belt, that ranking, that standing, because she's not mature enough up here to understand. Now, very well, she may be top of her class and kicking everybody's ass. I'm not going to take that from her. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is this. We're going to weigh the pros and cons on having a belt at a young age and how cocky it can make you until reality sets in. Because here's the thing about a fight. This is a tan belt from the Army. It's only good for one thing. It's holding my pants up. That's it. Which essentially all belts are just that. They're good for holding your pants up. When you get into a fight and you have a black belt and you lose, the come down from that is going to be a whole lot worse than the actual fight and your actual ass getting kicked for that very reason. Because belts build confidence. There's nothing wrong with having confidence at all. You know, I've beaten plenty of black belts, and I never got a black belt. And I've done shit that they've never seen before. I'd sprung off trees and things, and like, they didn't teach us that in the dojo. Because improvisation is fighting. Fighting and improvising are one and the same thing, and you have to be able to do both to consider yourself a great martial artist. If a martial artist at all doesn't know how to improvise, then you're screwed. Because if you're stuck with this, and you're fighting a guy who does this, you have no idea what he's going to throw because you're just used to front kick, stepping side, side kick, crescent, front, jump front, Karate Kid. If you're used to that and someone springs off a tree, tags you in the face, and you recover from that, but you're still stunned from the fact that it can be done, you're going to go back to ask the teacher, well, why didn't I learn that? Lots of teachers are about delving. So let's get into the guts of this video now. There are prodigies. I get that. And if you come from a martial art family, then you know what I'm about to say is about 95.5% correct. If I marry a female martial artist who's as dedicated to the martial arts as I am, and we have a child, whether it be a boy or a girl, and as soon as that child can walk or talk, we start teaching it martial arts until they're like 12 or 13. That kid still does not deserve a black belt. Let me tell you why. Because pride comes before a fall. And that kid goes anywhere. And we didn't teach it a certain skill to recognize or how to read a person's range of motion by how they step or how they walk. We failed our child. Giving our child a black belt and building phony confidence is not doing our child any good. Now, if you come from a martial art family, you're going to have confidence because it's different with family. With family, you don't really have to pull your punches. You have to pull them enough so that the person you're training can get hit and know what it feels like to be hit. And you might buff it up a little bit, get some pads on, that way your child will know how it feels when they're padded and hit versus when they're really, really hit. So when they actually have a conflict, they're going to expect that pain, but they're going to adapt. Same thing if I marry a wrestler and we teach our child martial arts plus wrestling, which is also a classified martial art nowadays. It ain't much difference. If you're a wrestler you have had some martial art training. You might not know it, but you have. Because if you sling a guy to the ropes and you give him the big boot, it's just an axe kick. But to the untrained eye, it's the big boot. You know, you give him the clothesline. You know what the clothesline is? It's a fucking ridge hand. You know, so you've had some martial art training. You just don't realize it's martial art training. You want to give him the Chris Jericho spinning jump back kick thing? That thing? It's a martial art kick. So, you know, everybody's body works differently. Although we are all designed the same on the outside and the inside, how you use your body is not how I'm going to use mine. How I use my body isn't going to look how yours is going to look. Here's a sloppy ass crescent kick from left to the left, from inside to outside. So it used to look better when my hip actually functioned. This hip functions, but it's damaged, so it's still going to look like shit. But I know how to adapt. Now, for those who are old 70s and 80s fans of movies, I can't do it with this leg, but I'm going to do the Cleopatra Jones kick, which is a crescent kick, but it's brought right back up into like an axe kick. So let me rephrase that. I'm going to attempt that, because I haven't done it in forever. So here we go. Crescent, boom. All right, so and my foot never touched the ground. So let's see if I can adjust the camera, get back far enough so you guys can see it. Hopefully you can see it. My foot will not touch the ground. I'm going to use this foot. So, ready? That was the Cleopatra Jones crescent kick. So, you know, my body doesn't work like it used to when I was in my 20s and my 30s. Not so good with the bad hip or the replaced hip. This is technically the bad hip. So, you know, if I'm going to be in a fight, someone's running at me, boom, you know, and I get back into my fighting stance. I'm going to be fighting someone running at me, boom, boom. That second kick, not happening. Because I took my hands and my body. My guard went down, my back was turned, and it's more than likely if I didn't do damage with that front kick, they're going to mack me in the back of the head. Right? And then I'm going to fly forward. Now I got to adjust my whole damn game. So they're coming at me, boom. Now my foot touched the ground, because in Taekwondo, I was taught my foot touches the ground and come right back up. So let's say I choose a different kick. Guys running at me, boom, jumping front kick. That should pretty much level the playing field right there. It's a basic kick, and it's very effective. It's a powerful kick. The only downside is that I'm off the ground for maybe 5 seconds. Which if I do that kick, he sidesteps and ridge hands me, I'm on my back. So my BJJ game better be up to speed if he comes down on top of me after the ridge hand. Yes, that sounds brutal, but that's what I would teach my kid. If my kid jumped past me and kicked me and I caught them in the chest with a ridge hand or the wrestling clothesline and they go down, I'm dropping an elbow right behind them. And they're like, why did you do that? Because it's a whole lot easier for me to beat you if you're already down than for me to let you get up and continue to fight your fight. We're fighting my fight. So clothesline, drop. It's done. Or clothesline, put my knee in your throat. Now, I'm going to do something to stop the fight as fast as possible, especially now that I'm almost 50. So, not that 50-year-olds can't kick ass, but to be on the safe side in a real fight, you want that shit to be over as quick as possible. I'm also only 5'3 and a half. If you're going to count that half, the Army didn't, so by Army standards, I'm 5'3. But, you know, if you're going to fight someone, and you're an 8-year-old with a black belt, you know, you might get brazenly bold and decide, I'm going to walk up the street and beat up the old bum who has an alcohol problem, and I think I can take it. Which is not a good way of thinking. But this is how children think, you know. And my policy on schooling is this, for me, and if I ever open up a school, I really only want to teach women and children, not because I'm a horny, sick freak. Let's get that out the way. I really only want to teach women and children because they're more easier to teach than most of us men, because most of us men get a raw hair up our ass. It's called macho complex. And even I've had it. And you want to go and test your skills on it. So testing your skills in the ring is great, especially if you're going to get paid for it. Testing your skills on any Joe Blow outside, it's not the best idea you're going to have, and you're probably not going to have a great day because they're probably going to rearrange your face, because dojo versus outside are two different possibilities. You can win every tournament on the fucking planet and walk outside against somebody who's been a street fighter, who's been a martial artist, who's been a boxer, who's been in more fights than you've had versus your tournament round, because those are controlled environments. And when you're in a tournament, you have rules. So you have to fight them by the rules you have to play. If you're in UFC, MMA, or in that, you have rules. No eye gouging, no kick to the crotch, no punching in the throat. You can hit them anywhere in the belly, which means if you hit them in the sternum and you hit them right and they go down, it's a legal hit, basically. You can't elbow them in the spine. Out here, anything goes. So if you go past me and I miss, say you slide under my ridge hair, but you don't turn around before I do. So you slide under, bam! I got my kick. It may not have landed full, but I'm going to get you one way or another. Let's say you come at me and you duck the ridge hand, but you duck into the knee. So now that you hit my knee and you're over, bam! I'm going to hit you in those three bones that connect your neck to your back. Now, technically, I probably shouldn't have said that on the internet because people are probably going to go out and try to smash people up. But those three bones are very fatal, very dangerous, and you should probably try your damnedest to never get hit there. Okay? But in the event that you are, you're either going to go to sleep, get a broken neck, or you might even wind up dead. So you have to be really careful on how you strike people, because you can accidentally kill someone trained. It can happen. Don't think that it won't. It can. So you have to train very rightly, not just be super aggressive and do what you want. The reason why I only want to teach women and children, I stopped teaching boys at 15. Unless they've come in at 14 to learn, and they've been bullied like from the age of 6 to 14, and they come in to learn, I will make a few exceptions to certain rules. But for the most part, I only want to teach women and children because I can mold a boy. I can mold a girl. I can't mold a woman. I can only give her what she needs and then send her on her way. But as for children, from the ages of 5 to 15, that's 10 good years that I can teach them without having a problem. But I ended at 15 for boys. I don't end it at 15 for girls. I ended at 15 for boys. And the reason that is, first off, all my classes are going to be recorded. Pure and simple. There will be a camera in all 4 corners of the room. That way nobody can accuse me of doing anything to their kid. It will be live streamed all the fucking time because that's just how I'm going to roll. Just that simple. Second, the reason why I stopped teaching boys at 15, because when I was 15, I had 1 week where I got into nothing but fights, except for Wednesday. I didn't ask for the fights. I won the fights, but at the cost of my sanity, I learned at 15 one very hard, important lesson. Just because I won doesn't mean I won. Yeah, I won the fights. I won them. I kicked ass. I was very proud of myself for doing that. But what would have happened if I had just walked away? What kind of friends would I have made? The guys I beat, we became friends, which is still a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. Because, you know, sometimes people remember the shit that you do to them, and they want your blood. You know, and my door's always open for that, which is why I stopped training people at 15, because of what I just said. I just said something that made me the biggest hypocrite on the planet. I stopped teaching at 15 because of the macho complex. I just used the macho complex in an example just now, and very few of you probably caught it. Alright? And what I said was, some people will want your blood for the things you've done to them. And then I said, my door is always open for that. That there in itself, if I can say that and mean it, just think about the kids that I've trained for 10 years and taught them shit that they can use in the dojo and the streets. And you want me to keep training them until they're 21. No. My training for boys stopped at 15, 16 with extenuating circumstances, which means if I shadow the kid and I get permission from his parents to go to school with him and see what he gets put through, and, you know, if that isn't
a thing, then I would tell the kid for me to be hooked up with a GoPro so that he could go through school with the GoPro and nobody would know but me, his parents, and the law enforcement who can really do nothing about bullying. But then, and only then, will I teach that kid from 14 to 16. Because he can learn a lot from me in 2 years as much as I taught the kids for 10 years. Because I'm only going to teach him what he needs, how to use it, where to use it, and what not to do. You know, everything else is up to him. And that's the same thing with everyone that you are taught, or everyone that teaches you. You know, teach me what I need. Don't teach me what you want me to know, especially if I got to pay for it. And so, here's the kicker on that. All of this Kung Fu Habit 2 stuff, every movie that I'm ever going to make, if I ever get successful in acting and people like know my name, my Kung Fu's for free. That's the whole reason why I'm making these videos. So that I can get acting work, open up a dojo, and teach Kung Fu for free, but still have food and money to run the joint, live off the joint, and pay the stuff. And then there would also be some major league changes and stuff like that. First thing that's going to come out of there will be no belt system. I will test you to see what you know. And then it will be up to you to stay and gain another level. Or if you think you have all you need, you're free to go. And to be honest, martial arts has to be a way of life. If I teach you 7 things that you need in 1 year, you can take that shit that I teach you and you can run with it and live the rest of your life, and you will never have to come back as long as you do the one thing that every sensei should tell you when you leave the dojo at night. Just like my sensei last night. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Because if you don't practice, you're not going to be successful. You get out of it what you put into it. Okay? It's just that simple. So if I'm training you for 10 years and I teach you everything you need to know, over and over, and beat it into your head, muscle memory, change the game a little bit, teach it to you 2 different ways, maybe 4 different ways, you'll get it. And you'll know what to do. Now, the only problem you'll have is the enemy within you. Alright, that'll be your main antagonistic problem, is that you'll have an enemy within that you'll have to fight to win. And you'll have to fight and control this guy every time you turn around. And every conflict you have, the first conflict is always the conflict with self. Now, I tell you that because most senseis, most sifus, most shidoshis, most maestri, they'll tell you that shit. You know why they don't tell you that shit? Because they want your money. They want you to come back. The conflict of self is self-explanatory. You will have moments in your life where you will know, do I have to fight this guy or do I walk away? And I tell you, first option is walk away as many times as you can until you can. But then you have to fight this guy. You can't live in self-doubt. When that fight begins, you need to have your game plan. You can't go in, oh, I'm going to kick him, I'm going to punch him, because all that shit's going to turn into something completely different once he swings at you. Or as they say on View, WWE, and every other station that has sport entertainment, everybody has a plan until they punch in the mouth. So you don't have to have a plan. You just need to be ready, for anything. I'm going to make a second part of this. So I'm going to stop now because I know I'm at like 15 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to make a second part. Yeah, I'm at 30 minutes.